Murderer and rapist Thabo Bester is still keeping authorities on their feet. He escaped from prison last year on the 3rd of May, pretending to have died in his prison cell. This is a man who managed to escape from prison and go undetected for almost a year.
Bloemfontein is the capital and the largest city of the Free State Province in South Africa. It is popularly known as the City of Roses for its abundance of these flowers and the annual Rose Festival that is held there. In the heart of Bloemfontein lies a privately owned prison called Mangaung Prison. The prison can accommodate around 3,000 prisoners. One of those prisoners went by the name Thabo Bester. Thabo was a convicted killer, known for luring his victim on Facebook. He was serving a life sentence at Mangaung Prison. In the early morning hours of the 3rd of May 2022, a fire broke out in a prison cell at the prison. It was a solitary cell, and at that time was occupied by Thabo Bester. Upon inspection, prison officials found the body of an unidentified male, thought to be Thabo. The body was burned beyond recognition, and was sent for an official autopsy. It was ruled that Thabo did this to himself. He ended his own life by setting himself on fire in his prison cell. However, all was not as it seemed. 2 months after the fire, a man resembling Thabo Bester was seen shopping in Woolworths in Johannesburg, South Africa, with a female, known as social media influencer and Dr. Nandipha. The photo was taken by a fan of Dr. Nandipha's. Meanwhile, tests were still being conducted to determine whether the body in the fire was that of Thabo Bester. A DNA test was conducted with Thabo's mother, and to everyone's shock, it was not a match. The autopsy results then also confirmed this, as it showed that the man who officials thought was Bester had absolutely no signs of smoke inhalation. He was in fact killed. The victim's cause of death was, according to the autopsy, blunt force trauma to the head. It was then determined that Thabo Bester didn't die in that cell, and something far more sinister went on. The biggest question was, where is Thabo? The public demands grew stronger as people demanded answers. Officials were forced to respond.
We found Bester.
When did you find him?
We find him, we sent to prison for life.
No, but now he's escaped.
We find Bester,
yeah.
Prison for life and 75 years.
Yeah, where's he now?
Bester was jumped out of correctional service,
yeah.
And we were chasing Bester for the second time.
Yeah.
During the authorities' investigation, a prison guard was interviewed and ultimately fired after he couldn't explain some of his behaviors on the night Thabo vanished. Interestingly enough, the same prison guard purchased a flashy new car just before the prison break. In January of 2023, it seems that Thabo was living with Dr. Nandipha in their Hyde Park home. They fled that home and went to a different property they owned. Once the couple got word that authorities released information that Thabo escaped from prison, they decided to flee South Africa by crossing the border through the Beitbridge border of Zimbabwe to get to Tanzania. Eventually, the duo, Thabo and Dr. Nandipha, were both tracked down and arrested in Tanzania. They were brought back to South Africa in a private jet after being deported. Thabo is being sent back to prison under heavy police guard. He will be monitored 24 hours a day. What's your thoughts on the case? It's hard to imagine that some officials weren't involved in his escape. And what was Dr. Nandipha's involvement in all of this?